Hello, everybody. Welcome to our AI Meets Cannabis presentation. My name is Stefan Meyer. Together with me is Viola Brugnatelli and Bijan.
And Bijan Ezarkani. Thank you.
Bijan Ezarkani. Thank you, Bijan. We are here to introduce you to a concept we developed recently. There's a lot of talking going on in the AI world, a lot of new technologies, new opportunities, new fears. Is what's going to happen? Are the machines going to take over? We have seen Windows already 20 years ago was suffering viruses, and what happens when AI starts to not be in alignment, and instead of helping humans, wants to take over the planet and enslave us. But we are definitely not going to discuss those risks today, also because it's not in our possibilities to control them. We are just working in the cannabis industries for many years, but we see opportunities. We've been using it. We've seen also issues. So humans definitely still very important, especially when they have experience and good eye to spot the so-called hallucinations of AI. And without further ado, let's start to get into our presentation. We'll first look at opportunities for using AI in the cannabis industry, and after that, we'd like to present you our solution, the PhytoAID concept we've been developing so far, and definitely involve you. We are very interested also to see if anybody of you has been using AI in the cannabis industry and wants to communicate with us and create a small community around cannabis and AI, because we definitely see opportunities. And cannabis has also been a sector which has been suffered from international laws that limit the possibility to expand the markets. We have seen just yesterday there was so many expectations from Germany, and we are still going into small 5-year programs with a lot of limitations. Definitely not the free market that we see, for example, with other markets such as the beer market. Though different from country to country. I was at MJB's in Las Vegas last November, and it definitely felt much more free than what we are experiencing in Europe. So all these different experiences, I think they should stimulate us to get together and use this opportunity to work together and also share experiences on how to produce better, how to serve better our clients and patients, especially in the case of medical, so that we can develop and thrive as an industry. Where we see opportunities is, for example, in cultivation. I've had experiences already with automated systems that are able, through sensors, to capture what's going on in the greenhouse, in the indoor grow room, and adapt to maintain the same conditions. So you're able to produce batches which are standardized, which have the same amount of cannabinoids required, especially in the medical sector. But of course, adapting, and this is a 24/7 job that is better off if you can automate. And then there is very interesting new developments going on with everything related to, for example, detecting pests, detecting diseases, plants that when you radiate special wavelengths such as ultraviolet and different technologies with sensors, that they respond differently if they are suffering from an attack from pests, for example. And all that will allow us to prevent that we have to lose crops, and we can produce higher quality cannabis. We also have opportunities in supply chain management. We have seen a lot of problems of overproduction of quality that then nobody wants to buy, so it's destroyed. But even worse, shortages, and especially in the medical sector, shortages are absolutely not acceptable, because patients are following a treatment, so they have a condition that requires that their medicine is readily available every day. Just because they cannot do without it. So how can we improve all this? There is a lot of new interesting opportunities to optimize, to coordinate interesting platforms where all the logistics and transportations are optimized, so you never end up with an empty stock. Again, here it would be very interesting if anybody has some opportunities. Please get in touch with us, share it with the chat. Next, please. And definitely, we are all very interested in research. Cannabiscientia, which is hosting, is a scientific company oriented to research. And in that, I will now pass over to Viola, which is going to illustrate some opportunities to collaborate with AI and research.
Thank you, Stefan. I will remove you from the screen so I can be on my own here, introducing three ideas, three concepts that perhaps some of you at the end of this presentation will agree that can go pretty well in bed together, and perhaps is a pretty interesting ménage à trois, putting together AI, cannabis, and R&D. So the flow, as you will see here, we're just putting together quite quickly, as in we don't wanna run down your attention, but actually kind of be kind of dynamic. So we're not going to enter specifically each of these places, but the idea is that R&D really is a field that you can apply from the production of the plant to the post-processing of the plant to then the introduction of these products into a market, and so the testing of these products and the development of these products. So I will follow this flow and hopefully introduce you some key aspects by which we can use AI, not really to do something different or to to give this work to people that have never worked in science. The concept is doing exactly what we've been doing in science throughout the years and just doing it better and faster. So starting from the production of the plant, as you surely know, one of the big holy grail that we all have is trying to match a chemotype, a variety, with potential desired effects that we're looking at. And in this sense, having the availability of AI really boosts up what we have been doing for so many years of bioinformatics. So I put together also the genome sequencing. Like, this is all things that is not new on the block, okay? We know that in the moment we can identify what genes are responsible for what specific traits, then we can start really start up breeding programs that are going in that direction. But the really interesting thing here is that we can totally win time by actually using some of these predictive models. So this is the fascinating part of all of it. And of course, this is directed, I look usually at effects because that's what I'm mostly interested on. But of course, this is directed as well on, as Stefan was just mentioning now, do we look for a plant that perhaps needs to grow in some very specific conditions? So yes, so do we have specific traits in that sense? Like, does it need to be tolerant to specific conditions? And in that sense, again, we can develop new varieties on the basis of our understanding through basically large analysis of large set of data. And on these, I would move on to what do we do in terms of post-processing. Of course, one of the most important areas of post-processing is how do we optimize our extracts? And I would say in one word, usually what most companies out there are struggling with, it's really having a consistent product. So it's not like companies cannot make quality products, but they perhaps struggle with the consistency of it, which again goes back to what Stefan just introduced, that especially for medical programs, but not just in medical programs, as much as we need a supply chain that is guaranteeing a therapeutic continuity to a patient, at the same time, well, we need the product to be consistent. So how do we use AI in this direction? Well, definitely we can help it to do, again, something that scientists and compounding pharmacists have been doing with the test and trial method, which has been going through testing different temperature, testing different solvents, testing basically different SOPs to understand what's my best procedure to create that specific product. And again, we can analyze all the data that we already have, either that we produce or also that other labs have produced, and then we can start identifying what are actually the best routes for the type of product that we want to make. On the other hand, not only we can improve product consistency, but we can also really leverage on the concept of development, and so really develop something that is kind of our unique value proposition to create custom extractions methods that are based on the specific product that we want to highlight. Well, let's just get a little bit more pragmatic. I want to make an extract that is going to be prevalently THCV based. Quite surely, the type of extraction method are not going to follow exactly the same steps if I want to make a CBD-based extract, okay? So that's the concept that I want to explain with the custom extraction kind of idea. And then quality control, as you can imagine, is something that we actually need to apply at every step of the production. So this could have been included, this slide, both at the cultivation, but also here in the manufacturing. What is really important is that, as Stefan just mentioned, on one hand, we can synergize the boost, if you will, of analysis tools, but with sensors that are also AI powered. And so these actually help us not only making predictions, which is super important in order to avoid problems with, for example, compliance and regulatory and potential waste and toxicity or even lawsuits and all that, but actually we can also take actions in real time, which is super, super useful actually. So all of this, of course, goes back to the point that we can reduce risk, basically, of recalls. And at the end of the day, we are improving the quality of the product that we're doing with half of the cost, if not less, actually. And now this is, for me, the most probably fascinating part, since I work mainly on these type of areas, which is how do we use AI for R&D in the development of compounds that are targeted, okay? So I put in here medicines, but also cosmetics that are targeted and nutraceutics or supplements that are targeted. So the normal drug development way, it would go identifying a target in our human physiology and understanding how do we need to operate, what type of pharmacodynamic interactions do we need at that specific target to obtain the type of results that we want. And actually with AI, it really can boost our power of identification of those therapeutic targets, not just the one that we already discovered, but also to find out new targets. Then we can do a sort of matching of these targets with our interesting ligands. So what do I mean with ligands? Basically the compounds that we want to use from our cannabis whatever, whether that's going to be an extract or something else. And in this sense, we can do a couple of really interesting things. On one side, we can predict the type of interaction that they're going to have. This is going to be based on not only, of course, as I said, wide set of data, but also on docking a molecular structure and all the pharmacological properties. So also how is going to be the pharmacokinetics of this interaction. And again, this is nothing new on the block. We have been using manually the PyMol, visual of how does a molecule dock on a receptor and see whether that's a good idea, potentially a good idea to follow with or not. But in this sense, we can actually speed up the process so much and compare and contrast like so many more data, which is quite fascinating and also very useful if we want to find a winning compound faster. And then another point that is really, really important is the prediction of toxicity, which again goes back, to the whole quality control idea, but especially in the moment that we're looking at trials and then preclinical and then clinical, a really important step is actually understanding where there could be potentially issues of safety. And one example of this is, for example, is not being able to make correct predictions, which had led in the past also on clinical trials that were dedicated on compounds that were trying to activate the endocannabinoid system of having issues with the translation in between a preclinical on animals and a clinical on human. And this doesn't just decrease the load of work and the cost of the operation and the time, but this actually can save us from potentially putting at risk health of the humans that will be included in those studies. So this is a really, really important point, in my opinion, which follows on to the clinical trial design that, of course, can be supported incredibly by AI tools, because, again, we can gather under a screening, basically, of everything that is out there. And this is pretty powerful. So we can put together all the previous trials, but also real world evidence. And then we can start predicting not just how, like, the patient population that would make most sense for that set of data, but also what type of method of administration, which can go back to, speaking with the manufacturing and actually tell them what type of product we really need. And again, as I said, identifying potential safety issues. All of these things are actually quite vital, as clinical trials are some of the most expensive endeavor and time-consuming endeavors. So the most we can sort of support us in this sense, the most amount of clinical trials, and again, I put it under medicine licensing, because this is for the brave ones, for the ones that want to go the long run and actually want to go in the direction of licensing a medicine that will endure a clinical trial. And just to conclude my little brainstorming on these, clearly, in our opinion, there is a bright future for the union between AI and cannabis R&D. We need to see it. But the thing that we want to reinforce today, and hopefully it's the concept that we're passing with you about PhytoAID, is that you cannot just think that AI is going to take over. What's going to be taking over is expert professionals that know how to use AI. So this is our point. And on this, I would like to pass also the word to Bijan, that actually will give you a little insight more on the commercial and sales side. Thank you.
Thank you, Viola. Thank you, Stefan. So shifting a little bit from the scientific perspective more towards the commercial perspective, I personally am somebody that is convinced that the effective use of CRM has an absolutely undeniable impact on the performance of your business. And that goes hand in hand with data analytics. But as Viola pointed out just a moment ago, AI is not something that can manage your entire CRM system with you, nor is it something that's going to be able to tell you, based on the nuances of the industry that you're working in this case, the cannabis industry, how you optimize the technical infrastructure and setup of your CRM, as well as how the data points are shared and moved between different data sets. Now, I'm sure all of you have heard of platforms such as Salesforce and HubSpot. Those are the two platforms that we specialize in. Both of these platforms are actually already using AI technology and offering this to their users. You're probably asking yourself, well, how does AI actually intersect with our CRM system? Now, there's a couple ways that it does that. One is, for example, scoring leads based on their likelihood of conversion. This is a process that is typically done manually. You probably have to go in and change some kind of attribute. Someone else can look at it. This is a process that can now be automated and enhanced using AI and using the analytics of past data and inputs. Also, of course, this is one of the biggest use cases that people have become familiar with apps like ChatGPT for, is the content creation and personal recommendation on this content. So in the context of a CRM, an AI is actually able to analyze past customer behavior based on human inputs into the system and use this input to predict future behaviors of the same customers. Furthermore, you also have the fact that AI can actually be used to, at a more accurate level, predict future sales forecasting. This is also particularly in the cannabis industry, something that some people have dared to do. Of course, the reality is always a little different than the numbers in the Excel chart, but AI in this case can also be extremely helpful as far as sales forecasting is concerned. And one of my favorite applications of AI is actually the chatbot functionality that is now actually offered also by HubSpot and Salesforce. So if you are looking to boost your CRM performance, looking to expand its use cases within your business, and in doing so, also leveraging AI to improve things such as your customer service, the customer experience, and the speed with which you deliver this service, then AI is also a crucial component to your CRM system, especially because in a highly competitive market such as the cannabis market, really you want to do anything that you can do to have even the slightest bit of a competitive advantage. And if your competitors are using AI in their CRM systems and you are not, well, we've just identified a few ways that at the very least they're saving time, and at the best case, their customers are having a much more enjoyable interaction with them. So much to that. And now, thank you, to the conclusion of our project. So we've touched on a lot of different use cases during the course of this presentation, but there are two things that we want to highlight. AI is not here to replace any human being. AI can merely help human beings expedite the work that they are doing. And really, those that are going to flourish are the ones that understand how to implement AI and learn how to use it in their industries. And this is what we are here for. So by combining the AI-driven systems and capabilities with the industry professionals on this team, we ensure that the AI-generated content is accurate, relevant, and valuable, and not including any type of AI hallucinations. And the convergence of AI technology and the human expertise, which we bring to the table, will help us to realize the full potential of AI within our industry, driving growth, innovation, and success. And now to a little bit of more detail on the PhytoAID team. PhytoAID is a collaborative project between Cannabiscientia and PhytoFlow, and was founded by the three team members you see on your screen here with me, Viola Brugnatelli, Stefan Martin Meyer, and myself, Bijan Christoph Ezarkani. And through our extensive industry experience, our global network of contacts, and our use of AI, we aim to help your company increase its revenue, enter new markets, promote your brands, and create sustainable, long-lasting partnerships and relationships. And our mission at PhytoAID is to help cannabis companies thrive by providing expert guidance, strategic support, and innovative solutions that allow them to navigate complex markets, expand their presence, and form the long-term partnerships for sustainable growth. So it's not just about the AI, but the people behind it. At PhytoAID, we envision a future in which the cannabis industry as a whole is thriving due to informed decision-making, cutting-edge technology, and strong collaborations. And we strive to be the industry's leading partner in cultivating a global ecosystem, prioritizing patient needs, scientific advancements, and responsible business practices. Now, what makes us so special? The unrivaled synergy of using AI-generated content in conjunction with industry-leading experts to create impactful, tailored content. Sure, many of us could learn how to enter a prompt or to generate some content into ChatGPT, but tailoring that content to have it be as relevant as possible for your particular industry, in your unique set of circumstances in which your business finds itself, that's where we come in, and that's where you can leverage our years of industry experience and our countless missteps that we've learned from in the past to make sure that you can avoid the same mistakes that we've had and also reach your goals quicker through the innovative technologies that we didn't have in the past, which we are hoping to bestow upon you. On top of that, also the adaptable solutions. So creating eye-catching, exciting, and accurate content for different platforms, including social media, print publications, digital platforms, and scientific publications. Again, this is not something that you could just extract out of an AI platform yourself, particularly when it comes to scientific and medical information. It is absolute paramount that you have experienced eyes validating and verifying this information before you put it in the hands of your customers, your partners, patients, etc. And last but not least, our competitive advantage. PhytoAID is the game-changing cannabis business. PhytoAID is the game changer that your cannabis business requires, and we will help you elevate your brand and captivate your audience. Again, we cannot highlight enough that our goal here is to leverage AI and help you learn from our experiences that we've gathered already. And I think we all bring a very unique perspective and set of experiences and expertise to the table, which we hope to help you leverage so that you can achieve your goals sooner rather than later. During this process, we've really thought about how could we actually make this service available to clients that we want to work with and companies that want to reach out to us. And the thing that we couldn't get past is that every business, every company, every person that contacts us, they have a very unique set of circumstances in which their business finds themselves. Now, we don't deal with just medical companies. We don't deal with just recreational companies. Really, any company within the cannabis industry, we're here to help you. But we also understand that every project requires a tailored approach. And so a collaboration between ourselves and you would always begin with the PhytoAID discovery package. As you can see here, the discovery package actually results in value already being delivered to you in the first stage of our communication, if you will. The discovery package consists of a content analysis of your current online presence and any other materials that you may provide with to us. It also includes fundamentals on using AI. It will include also a content strategy framework in which we look at the content that you've already published, as well as taking into account your current goals and who you want to speak to, and then using AI to develop a framework that has been basically approved and reviewed and validated by industry experts. Also, as part of this package, you will receive a country report. This will be a comprehensive report of the cannabis industry in a country of your choosing, in a country that's the most relevant to you. During this process, you also have a number of two collaboration meetings with the PhytoAID team. One can be seen as a kickoff meeting in which we get to know each other and also basically formalize the parameters of what you're actually seeking. Also, we will provide you a analysis of business opportunities that we have deemed as being feasible and available to your business where you are. This may be, for example, launching a new product or helping you, expand distribution networks, identifying new clients, maybe boosting sales for a product that hasn't been performing so well. Any of these things, with a little bit of a look under the hood, if you will, we'll be able to identify a number of these opportunities we feel. And in working with us, you can also expect a quick turnaround time. And last but not least, the resulting report that our clients get will also include a list of recommendations for next steps. Now, it is important to note that upon delivery of the discovery report, our clients have the option to, take that and use that as an internal reference, although we hope it's the foundation of a more long-term collaboration. But as I mentioned at the beginning, we do want to add value with this report, but really we hope that this is the framework that will allow us to continue to grow together. And last but not least, if we have tickled your fancy so far, then please check out our website at Cannabiscientia.com/PhytoAID. You can also get in touch with us at PhytoAID@gmail.com. We're also on LinkedIn, which I'm sure you know if you're joining us in this live right now. But you can also check out our LinkedIn page, and if you haven't already, please give us a follow. We've been a little bit quiet leading up to today, but we do plan on posting a heap of interesting stuff. And last, and certainly not least, check out the newsletter below, the Bites and Buds newsletter, where we will be talking about all the news at the intersection of AI, tech, and cannabis. So if we haven't lost your attention yet, or if we are about to, snap out of it, because now we're going to go through the website, and I'm going to pass it on to my colleagues. Thank you, guys.
Right, let's unmute ourselves and perhaps all chip in here. This is basically what you're going to see once you click. I believe it's been, but I'll re-put it here. Thank you, Andrea, for rewriting this in the comments. If you click in there, that's our landing page for the moment. And basically, you will find pretty much what we told you up until now, what we believe on, what we would like to do, and where and how we can help you, which possibly is the most interesting part for who's landing on this page. So as Bijan just told, here we just address some of the common service requests, of course, but as we just mentioned, we believe that as much as cannabis therapy is actually a tailored therapy, so should be a service that is provided to a cannabis company. So in that sense, don't take it as, oh no, they're just offering these 4 things. I don't see the name of the service that I'm actually looking for in here. So perhaps that's completely a waste of my time, because it's possibly it's one of the tailored activities that we can provide for you. We'll just need to find out. So sorry, before I go any farther, I wanted to, okay, this is the repeat of what we just said. This is our discovery package with basically our deliverables of what you can expect from our delivery package, and which is kind of shown in here as well.
Yeah, maybe just if I can chime in very quickly here, Viola. I think this is really also to for people to understand what was our motivation behind this project. We are all very busy people. Viola, you're about to publish a huge, actually dangerous, if thrown at, book, which is a clinical guide to cannabinoids and medical cannabis and endocannabinoid. In the endocannabinoid system. So that keeps you busy. I am already involved in various operations, various companies around the world, have been also working more than 10 years in research. So the reason, and Bijan, sorry, with your experience, you've been working also for large corporations such as Canopy and Chiron, with German pharmacies, German patients, distribution of medical cannabis. So I think really in that direction, our expertise is, rather than in AI, is really in cannabis, as we said at the beginning. But we see that ourselves, we are using more AI. We see how AI can help, and this was really the motivation. We are not planning to become bigger than Deloitte or any other consulting company, even if it's always good to dream. But we saw this opportunity. We see that this is the moment to do it, and in that direction, I also personally would love to see that there is some kind of community. Besides the package and whatever service we can try to offer, but that we get together and there is a little bit more of a sharing platform on how to improve. And of course, when you improve, your competitor can steal from you, but maybe it's time that we are a bit more collaborative and a bit less competitive in this industry. That would be my hope for the future, because we already have so many enemies out there, or so many complications that other industries don't have, that probably helping each other out is a little bit of a winning strategy.
Absolutely. And I wanted to touch for a moment also the topic that has been addressed earlier by Bijan when he mentioned the word hallucinations. And so actually this has been kind of how it all started. It started with an hallucination. What do we mean with this? What we mean is that once we started to familiarize with some of these tools that we were speaking about, we realized that actually you cannot really trust them. So if you are asking ChatGPT to give you a list reference of the most important papers around, I don't know, transformation of THCA into THC, okay, probably you're going to have a list of some papers that actually exist. If you go and check on PubMed, they're true with the right authors and everything, and some others that will be very intelligent moves that ChatGPT does. So what they do is that they will put you a really potentially true title with potentially true authors as well, because maybe it's just taking from authors that usually publish around this topic. And so, but actually what it's completely inventing papers that don't exist. So imagine you are a medical cannabis company and you're communicating with healthcare professionals, and you go there and you want to claim whatever claim you're trying to make with a list of things that actually they're not even true. They don't even exist. It's pretty brutal. So that's why we say the importance of this work is really in the humans that intervene and check whether it's an hallucination or it's reality.
Yeah, you make such a very good point. Don't forget, those are called, in the case of ChatGPT, large language models, which have trillions at this point with GPT-4 of different variables, of different weights, of different data input. And so the tendency of the algorithm under the pressure of now you have to do a response is to really invent or hallucinate. And especially we've seen that more than once with scientific references, papers that really sound really real because we know some of the authors, it makes total sense, the title, and then they are nowhere to be found. Actually, maybe are good ideas for new papers in that direction. But yeah, we are really not at the point where you can give your keys to AI and say, run your life, and we can just spend time at the park, enjoying human life on this planet. So it is super important to have experience on our sides. And I think that's really what we can bring with this service.
And just to piggyback off of that, actually, as someone who specialized in and focused on setting up distribution channels and building relationships with clients to drive sales for companies in this industry, you cannot replace me or anybody in my position with AI. At the end of the day, a lot of these activities, fostering the growth of a company or leading to the success of someone that's entering a new market, it's the relationship between humans. However, what my experience has taught me is, okay, well, how can I use this innovative technology to make my job a little easier in the field? Because it's not going to replace the human factor. If anything, it will only enhance the human factor. And this is exactly the intersection in which PhytoAID finds itself and where we draw the inspiration to offer these services to our clients.
Totally. Maybe just for ease of our audience, I wanted to just show you how easy it is to get in touch with us and start basically a relationship with us. So we have an easy form, and from there we will start to gather some information about you, and so we can start to look and give an analysis to what you want our attention to be on, and then we can start helping you out, basically. So you'll find the form, and let's say I am Viola, and I'll just place my name, my surname, my email address. Do I have a company? Yes, I do. Awesome. And so then at my website, okay, so we can start to look at your website. Nice. Okay. Which of these segments are relevant to me? In my case, actually my segments would be medical cannabis and probably services as well. But as you see, you have other options, and you also have a other as an option, okay? Don't be shy using it in case we are not covering what you need. Who are you typically speaking to? Now, I talk for experience. Sometimes we also believe, we as in a company, may believe that they are, the people that they are already speaking to are the only people that they need to be speaking to. And sometimes, and this is really where the experience comes in, and our support as humans come in. It's actually sometimes one of the reasons perhaps that some things needs improvement is that perhaps you're not talking to the right people. What do I mean with that? Sometimes we don't understand really who is our audience. Perhaps we focus so much for the sale of a medical product on, for example, digital marketing, when perhaps what we should be doing more is like concrete steps into the medical doctor offices, which are still running in a very old school way of showing, let's say, a poster of what cannabis therapy can do, or receiving a letter. So there are different type of communications that we can adapt, but we need to understand in the first place what is that we want to do. And in this also we can help you understanding who is the target that actually you should be talking to. So in my case, usually I talk with patients, I also talk with the healthcare professionals and with companies. So this would apply to me. How can PhytoAID be of assistance? Well, of course, that would be nice to make more sales, to have an expansion. Why not? It could help me with operations. It could help me with marketing. I run an education and training company, so why not asking help in there? Why not asking help in business development? Why not asking help in scientific communications? Basically, PhytoAID take over my company. That would be really nice. So what would be your primary goal for our collaboration? I mean, in some cases, there might be some of you that have, as Bijan just said, like a specific new product that you want to launch, or I already have this product, but now a new market is opening, so I want to enter that market. Or perhaps is a more general sort of like, let's look at how is all of our communication on our social media channels or other different type of like branding activities, because we actually want to boost our brand and we want to appeal to different type of markets. So in my case, what is the primary goal of my collaboration? I don't know, spreading education worldwide, right? How did I hear?
We would love you to be as detailed as possible when you fill out this form. That's one thing we would just like to add, but absolutely, thank you for demonstrating this, Viola.
Clearly, this is a demo of what you shouldn't be doing. But it's just to show you that it's not going to take you too much time, but it's actually really useful information for us. And in the moment we're going to receive this form, actually humans will look through these forms and not AI. And then from there, we will take action, and you'll hear very soon back from us. And we will start already having an understanding of who you are, which is really important in the moment we want to change things. Before changing anything and offering any support for steps to take, we need to really address where you're at. So you help us doing this basically by completing that form.
Yeah, and if I can add something to that, the images that we are seeing also on the website there, we created them using Midjourney. To me, Midjourney has been a little bit of a game changer, because during the first 36 years of my life, I was never able, so God gave me a few talents, but definitely not art. So I was never able to really express what my imagination sees through pencils, through Photoshop, through whatever tool that esteemed illustrators and artists are able to do. And then AI came in. I started actually in the mid of August, and so far I generated about 35,000 images. So this has been a few sleepless nights where you're really experimenting and sharing information. I'm part of a few interesting communities like the AICC, which is definitely packed with artists and people have been learning exponentially from, just because we on Discord we create stuff together. And I think this is a very interesting way of exploring AI, because to me, really, Midjourney has been that hand that I was never able to have to express. I was seeing mutations before falling asleep. How would cannabis look like if we could work on its DNA and mix it with broccoli? And out of that, I made a little bit of an entire journey. And as I said, before I knew, I was generating 35,000 images. So I really see that if people are open to explore a little bit, they discover they have new opportunities to understand how to do stuff themselves and to explore parts of their life that not necessarily are meant to generate sales and revenue, but just, I think being creative and expressing art is also a therapeutic experience, and often helps you understand yourself or understand a little bit more life in its more philosophical aspects, if you see what I'm trying to say. So I really believe in that, and I believe that the community can be the force that allows you to learn faster, especially when it's done in a transparent way. There is so much we can learn from each other's experiences.
Absolutely, and just to piggyback a little bit off of what Stefan just said, which I wholeheartedly agree with. These platforms give you almost the opportunity to explore within oneself a little bit. And so Stefan described he had a version of himself that has now blossomed that didn't really have the means to do so before. But I think that this is also applicable to business. Again, looking from the commercial perspective, if you were to consider the time it would usually take to prepare some of these documents or prepare some of these strategies or this content, with someone like PhytoAID at your side, and the combination of the AI and our expertise, the speed with which we can generate these things is just so much quicker that it gives you, the client, the business, the opportunity also to connect with your customer base in a different way. Maybe you can speak to them and kind of spark that thought in your clients. And being able to do that quicker, being able to experiment at this speed, and having the experienced team on your side to guide you a little bit in terms of what the implications would be as far as certain messaging strategies or certain tonalities with which you want to address your client base. I mean, it's a really exciting time for businesses right now, because it's kind of the ones that are breaking the mold that are really sticking out and able to find a long-term niche for themselves. So it's not the ones that are just doing the same old. And this is what we're really excited about helping companies with, whether these are established big corporations or startups that are still kind of developing their personality as they grow. Right now is the absolute ideal time to leverage this kind of technology, whether it's Midjourney, ChatGPT, all the other ones, and really experiment and also develop relationships with your customer base and your partners in a way that you've never been able to do before, frankly.
Thank you. And I wanted to just, before, I think we should also open the mic to anyone that has any question and any conversation, actually, because as we said, we feel that this really works as a synergistic activity. But the last thing I wanted to say on the why it makes sense to not just use the tool, but also use someone that understands the field to be using the tool is I'm sure you've been on social media. I mean, you're watching this on social media, and you must have been seeing popping on your screen so many now of posts of your friends that are now written with the ChatGPT. And one thing that for me is striking is the fact that it's not like you just go on ChatGPT and they're like, okay, write me a social media post for this and this topic. Then pretty much the format that you're going to have is a type of communication that not necessarily is going to be the most effective way. So it may work great, these like spaced 3-line paragraphs with the little emoji on the side for some platforms, for some type of audiences, but for others, it's going to be a like complete thrown off, actually. So, and also let's think about, because we are running this seminar in this moment from Europe. So let's also understand at the yes, actually ChatGPT or other AI can be great also for the whole translation part. But then apart from translation, we need localization, which is fundamental when we're doing translations. So it's really understanding what does that mean for that set of population, okay? And so this is basically what we feel we can add on to your experience with AI. Then we don't want to prevent you to play with AI on your own. Actually, we would like to give you more tools to do that efficiently. So with that said, I'm gonna, I think, shut up, but also try and work in here to see whether there is some of you that has some questions or just wanna maybe hop on the live with us, basically. Let me see. Thank you very much for the support, for everyone that is been commenting, by the way.
Yes, a big thank you to everyone who's been commenting, and also a thank you to the future yous who may be checking out this recording at another time. For those of you that are here with us right now, if you guys have been using any AI tools recently, we'd love to know which ones you've been using and what your experience has been like. So if you have any tools that you've been using over the last little while, drop it in the comments. We'd love to know. Also, right now, I guess you can consider this a little bit of a ask me anything or ask us anything. But if you have any particular challenges that you're facing right now with your business, or any areas where you would like to know how AI maybe could be applied, drop it in the comments right now. And we have about 10 minutes left, and we'll do our best to address some of them. I saw one comment.
Is this one?
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, I cannot see the name. We are not connected, but I will try and connect just after this live. Current AI technology rely on huge amount of data. Does such a data set for cannabis exist at all? What data set will you be using? This, I think the point is really understanding what's the question that we have. So depending on the type of questions that we're looking at and that we have, then we want to look at different data set. So if my question, for example, is is it better to use 5, 10, or 15 milligrams of THC for neuropathic pain in patients that are female between 20 and 45? That's the type of set of data that I will put in. So I will take anything that actually has a validated study on that, and I will throw it into basically who is a little helper for doing statistical analysis. But this, again, it goes back, it's not like it's giving you the solutions. We can do huge mistakes with the best also R language and other softwares that help us with stats and bioinformatics if we don't understand what type of questions we want to do. So it really goes back to are you allowing AI for R&D being used by the person that is supporting you to do your IT? Then perhaps there could be some little issues, because maybe you should ask your group of scientists to be doing that. But that's the idea. I think it's really understanding what's the question that we want to have, and then we have data for pretty much depending from sorry.
Maybe if I can chime in very quickly on what you just said, Viola, which I think is extremely interesting, and I think this again the importance of the community. The importance of sharing. If we don't have a lot of data, we won't be able to analyze it. It's as simple as that. And obviously, we all have our projects, and we all have our secrets, and possibly our patents, and whatever it is. But it comes to a point where we also need to get together to share it. I can maybe just mention I got contacted right now by this gentleman, Eric Mercado, from Denver, Colorado, which has an AI-driven virtual bud tender platform. I think I didn't know about this one until today, and I think that's extremely interesting. And we look forward to maybe welcome him in an upcoming live session to learn how did you do that, what data you are using, how is it really helpful, how does it possibly help the human bud tender, which I think is still very much needed. No, I think nobody just wants to deal with AI. But these are new projects which I think are popping up also because the technology is advancing. And this is one of the purposes we are launching this platform, is that we'd love to hear what's going on and possibly learn from it.
Absolutely. And on that point, I'm just highlighting a comment here. In my opinion, we have been using AI in the medical and research, in the medical research with universities and research institutes. I know they have been since 2017. So this is, for example, one of the big data sources also that we, as a community, hope to be able to access, because a lot of the big research projects are being managed by universities, hospitals, etc. So getting them on board, and also doing what we can as a community to, make that transition to using AI as easy as possible. That is something similarly to the cannabis industry where we all play a role. I would also just like to highlight quickly, we had a comment here. Although it has been quite a while. So most cannabis companies who start continue to fail in Canada within a year, and cannabis products across companies are not yet standardized or reliable for customers. How can AI be used to solve these two problems? Well, in the first instance of the fact that many of the cannabis companies that are being founded are still failing within the first year of operations, I think there we simply don't have the inputs required to really give an answer there. I think it would be necessary for PhytoAID to do a more closer inspection of the business and see what the issues are under the hood. And in terms of standardization of products, whether that's in the medical market or the recreational market, so whether it's a customer or a patient, both parties want to be able to have consistency in the products that they use. And how can this be achieved? Well, this starts way earlier in the process, in for example, the cultivation or the analysis of the the compounds in a particular plant. So all these areas that we touched on before, that's really where the process begins in terms of reaching this standardization.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to add just a couple of things on the previous rather than question contribution. True, I would say that actually is before 2017, because I remember myself already in 2010 using some softwares that now have been improving incredibly, but that basically are AI, okay? When instead of having to do a radioligand binding, so that I literally have to have basically a coupled fluorescent receptor, so that I can see when whether my drug actually attaches there or not, or if I can see that through a screen. Clearly, that is a great advantage. So I would say that no, of course, that's why I was saying, like, nothing of this is particularly that new for R&D. It's just that it's really putting like a booster effect. And then on this last topic that you just touched, on the how can we improve more standardized products. Really, the component of analyzing our processes, it's at the basis of having the most reliable product. So once we have established an SOP, a standard operating procedure that works for our product, and from, as he said, from the starting production of the plant to the post processing, to then so how we move around our product that also can have issues in terms of deterioration of cannabinoids and so on. We are taking out a big question mark, because we just need to sort of follow that same procedure. But at the same time, we can also in real time analyze whether our operators are actually following those steps. So then we have the possibility to intervene immediately in real time on the potential issues, and then avoid, these problems of compliance and reliability. And this, not only in the rec market, but also in the medical market, I would say one of problem number one, for sure. So thank you for pointing that out. And I think with this, unless Stefan wants to grace us with his voice, I'm
happy to grace you, but I think we can slowly wrap it up. We are beyond the first hour. But we will do more streams, and as I said, I think it's also last thing I would say, if you know of someone that has been working, and just that's the power of community. Just connect us, just share. We would love to do more streams and present new projects, and we are far from being the only ones that want to work with AI in the world right now. I think it's a global phenomena. We'd love to have a platform where we can learn from each other and possibly advance as an industry. So by all means.
Absolutely. And if I could just add something to that, I mean, you're just seeing the culmination of us combining two things that this group is passionate about, which is these innovative technologies and also cannabis as a medicine, as a plant. We are really here just, trying to meet also other people that are spending time going down the rabbit holes just like us. And even if you weren't with us now and you have questions for us, feel free to shoot them in the comments anytime. Tag anyone that you think may be interested in what we're up to, or that you think that we should connect with. If you don't know, Viola and I, we also do a weekly LinkedIn Live, which we've been toying about doing the idea here on the PhytoAID platform as well. Maybe doing some walkthroughs about how to use different tools, or also bringing on guests to talk about their journey with AI. So really, we can't highlight enough that this is also about the community and that this is a passion project for us, of course, with you guys and everybody involved. So thank you for being with us, and we hope to see you very soon and engage in this post and help us grow this PhytoAID community.
Yes, and maybe the last thing also, we'll be sharing those slides, so please use them as a starting point to then maybe add your contribution.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well,
so as humans, we should wrap this up, and I'm very excited, actually, personally. I think this is opening new opportunities which are very much needed.
Yeah, welcome to a new era. So PhytoAID will try and support in this new revolution. Thank you very much, everyone. And
thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to my teammates too, Viola and Stefan. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome.
So far, it's been a great pleasure. Definitely.
Absolutely. Ciao. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.